the level of darkness that is on the earth is strange. There are different creatures coming to this world. As we speak now, they are aliens. They are demonic entities trying to break different dimensions to enter this realm. Some things are not for public discussion. Maybe somebody will start, we will argue, it will not end, so let's stop. But those who are seeing it and interacting with it, they know. The reason I decided to start this way is to let you know that one of the major points of attack of the devil are the ordinances of God. Because what gives us authority and safety in this realm is the degree to which we can keep the ordinances of God. The reason Adam fell was because he violated the ordinances of God. Now, when God created the earth was shielded from every demonic element and every prince in darkness. They were looking for ways of puncturing into the earth realm in order to have a stake in the evolution of the civilization of the earth. And they didn't have any way so long as the ordinances were kept. The moment Adam violated the ordinances of the earth, creatures from different realms began to traffic the earth realm, because the earth now is the spectacle in the spirit realm. And the way these creatures find expression is by violating the ordinances of the earth, so that the authority that is with man, they can lay hold on it and begin to operate. That's why the prince told Jesus on the Mount of Temptation, he said, bow to me, I will give you the glories of the earth. He said, it has been delivered. I didn't have the legal right, but now it has been delivered. And they have not stopped coming. They are still coming. If you study Nahum chapter 2 from verse 6, it says, open the gate of the sea. Because there are certain dominions that are still sitting in the belly of the sea. There's a palace there. When you open the gates of the sea, there are creatures dwelling in palaces beneath the bellies of the water. He said the gate of the river shall be open. And he said the palace shall be dissolved. That means there are governments in different dimensions trying to find expression into the earth realm. If you study the book of Revelation, as you approach the battle of Armageddon, certain creatures began to come out of the waters to fight. Because as God is contending to win the earth realm, there are other princes that are fighting to also win the earth realm. And when I started teaching you on Sunday, I told you that there is a structure in the demonic realm. And that structure has 6 caders. If you study Colossians chapter 1, verse 15 and 16, and you study Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 to 13, you are going to find out that they are thrones. They are dominions. They are principalities. They are powers. They are rulers of the darkness of this world, and their spiritual wickedness. And the agenda of these demonic princes is to colonize the earth, so that the earth will become part of their colony, their realm of dominion. You know, recently the Queen of England died, and some people were discovering for the first time that many countries, their head of state is the Queen of England. They have what they call their own constitutional government. But the Queen of England is the head of state of Canada. Is the head of state of New Zealand. Is the head of state of Australia. Is the head of state of Jamaica. You are in your own country, but your head of state. Because that's the era. See, when you talk thrones and monarchy, you are talking about sovereignty. And the sign that you are under a government is that what you call your culture will reflect the value system of the kingdom that you are extended from. And so what thrones are trying to do is to make the earth become a colony of their kingdom. Because part of their kingdom is the air. It's called the power of the air. If you study Ephesians chapter 2 verse 2, it says everyone that is disobedient and is walking lawlessly. He's not doing it because he wants to. He said he's doing it because he's under the bondage of the prince of the power of the air. And there are other princes that are in the belly of the sea. Their job is to dominate the earth. And the only way they can access the earth realm is so that is by dissolving the ordinances of God. And the way you find the ordinances of God are in the institutions that God creates. For example, when they were walking through the wilderness, God wanted to begin to have fellowship with them and to dwell amongst them. And so God created the institution of priesthood. And through priesthood, God could come into their camp, and they could also come into God's presence by the instrumentality of the mercy seat. And there were ordinances that were defined in order to manage that institution. And so what they did was that every year, once in a year, the high priest will approach the mercy seat with the blood of atonement, and he will sprinkle it on the mercy seat and purge the whole temple. And then the sin of Israel will be covered. He will confess his sin, confess the sin of Israel, and then slaughter the scapegoat. And he will release the scapegoat, take it out of the camp, and he will go with the cause of Israel. And then the offering, the sheep for the sin offering, the blood will be used to cover Israel by sprinkling on the mercy seat. Because of that ordinance that was set in motion, God could relate with them for a whole year as their God, keeping the covenant that he had with their fathers. Now, if that ordinance is violated, then God will forget the covenant that he had with the fathers. So what keeps that covenant in motion is the ordinance of priesthood. And so if you want to stop God from being their God, skip the atonement. When you skip the atonement, the anger of God will lick them up. They will no longer exist. So that ordinance was what gave them safety. That's how powerful ordinances are. And so when God created man, in order for man to qualify to advance his agenda so that his influence can remain on the earth, he created an institution. And that institution is what we've been considering for the last 2 weeks. The institution called marriage.